Buhari addresses world leaders in Glasgow on global climate policies. Nigeria Union of Journalists hold peace work, urges youth to shun violence for nation building. Plus, Speaker House of Representatives sympathizes with victims of collapsed building in Lagos. Details in just a moment. Good evening. Welcome to NTA News at 7. I am Erika Ivi. Now on the news in details. Nigeria is committed to net zero carbon emissions by 2060, says President Muhammadu Buhari at the Leaders Summit at COP26 in Glasgow. This is in addition to his demand for a just transition that allows the country to use gas, a transition energy till 2040, without deviating from the Paris targets. Onyedie Finefist reports.
Addressing the imbalance of cause and impacts in global climate policy is central to presentations from the African bloc at the Leaders Summit at COP26. President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledged the role of gas in the case of Nigeria in financing the transition to renewable energy without mortgaging the economy and survival of the nation.
Parties to the Paris Agreement are expected to transit from fossil fuel to clean energy and reach a net zero ambition for greenhouse gases emission. Nigeria is actually more of a gas than an oil-producing country. Consequently, I am requesting for financing of projects using transition fuels such as gas. Nigeria has developed a detailed energy transition plan and roadmap based on data and evidence. This plan has highlighted some key facts that faces the difficult conversations. Our transition plan also highlights the key role that gas will play in transitioning our economy across sectors, and the data and evidence shows that Nigeria can continue to use gas until 2040 without detracting from the goals of the Paris Agreement.
President Buhari again stressed Nigeria's commitment to the Paris target with increased ambition in priority areas.
I would like to state that attaining national and global climate change goals will require adequate and sustained technical and financial support to developing countries. In Nigeria, in the area of energy access, Nigeria's commitment to a just transition is reflected in our ambitious energy compact, which includes the government's flagship project to electrify 5 million households and 25 million people using decentralized solar energy solutions. This is a major step towards closing our energy access deficit by 2030.
Fulfilling the promise of $100 billion support to developing countries by the developed economies and doing so in a favorable manner is a crucial demand by African countries.
The obvious question arises is how do we in Africa finance these commitments, especially as our socio-economic development continues, unfortunately, to be low. The Almighty has blessed our lands with abundant natural resources, and it would be wholly unfair for the world to demand that Africa abandons the exploitation of these same resources needed to finance her development and help us to cope better with the threat of climate change at a time when many countries on the continent have only just discovered them.
Commitments at the Leaders Summit will pave the way for negotiations at the conference towards achieving positive climate actions to meet the Paris targets. Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
One of the desires of President Muhammadu Buhari is to ensure that critical infrastructure and ecological challenges in Nigeria are addressed. the erosion control project in Cross River State, with intervention works ongoing at the project site, are visible testimonies of the federal government, while ensuring that people of the area and the entire business environment are safe. Uduak Etam complete the story.
Risk of erosion and its impact on people as well as the environment, especially in Nigeria, necessitated the intervention of the federal government through the Ecological Project Office to address these challenges. Cross River State is not left out, as the erosion control project at the Calabar Free Trade Zone is yielding results based on the ongoing intervention work at the site to ensure that the entire business environment is safe for investors to thrive. For the host communities of Ikodansa and Esogutan, the project will go a long way to improve the health and general well-being of the people as youths are engaged in the project.
We have seen that over 40-50% of our youth are already here working, and it therefore means that has also solved the problem of insecurity in our town. We thank God for this project.
The project, which is not below the acceptable standard according to the contractor, is progressing at between 25 to 28% with concrete works and soil conservations. While inspecting the ongoing project, Director Pollution Control Ecological Project Office Clinton Igwe and his team are calling on the host communities and the contractors to work harmoniously for the speedy execution of the project. He, however, expressed satisfaction on the level of work done so far at the site.
I am pleased to say that the contractor has lived up to his billing and the considerations given in selecting him. We've seen a lot of preparatory work on. In fact, they've already delved into the main job itself. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the job so far. So in the next couple of months, I expect they should be out of sight.
So far, we have done mobilization. We have mobilized equipment. We have mobilized materials. At the same time, we have gone further, looking at the weather constraint to start a critical part of the project, which is the retaining walls. So it's a very major key project to help investors to come more to Calabar and invest.
The erosion control project is expected to be completed in 2022. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
So far, 9 victims have been rescued alive from the collapsed building at Ikoyi in Lagos State, while 10 casualties have been recorded. Deputy Governor Lagos State, Obafemi Hamats, who briefed journalists, said construction of the 21-story building was halted in July because of a constructional anomaly. The Deputy Governor noted that the integrity test will be conducted on the 2 remaining buildings to determine their fates. Meanwhile, concerned families of those still trapped in the building are becoming more agitated as their waiting continues. And moving on, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed his sympathy over the Lagos building collapse of Monday, which led to the loss of some lives. Gbajabiamila said it was unfortunate that the building collapse happened at a time the Lagos state government was doing everything to make the lives of Lagosians safer. The Speaker sent his condolences to the families of the victims, noting that he shared in their grief and sympathized with the government and people of Lagos State over the unfortunate incidents. He called for adequate measures to forestall future occurrences, while urging the relevant authorities to double their efforts at rescuing those trapped in the multi-story building. Fundamental human right is the bedrock of every democratic society. Over the years, human rights activists have maintained that development cannot be complete without the right of citizens giving full protection against abuses and violation. How often do Nigerians seek for redress in case of violation of their fundamental rights? Clement Bariki sought answers for these and more.
My rights have been violated, but every time my rights is being violated, I followed the normal due process of constitutional jurisprudence by going to court to seek a redress and to be sure that I get back that which is my right.
Mr. Major Sylvester is abreast with the constitutional right he has, first as a Nigerian, and knows what next to do whenever such rights are being threatened. Others may not be like Mr. Sylvester, and in such cases, it will take the intervention of another to have such human rights violation addressed.
Learn to speak out, seek redress wherever you can. There are different agencies. The Human Rights Commission is there.
If individuals will learn to respect a fellow human rights, it will help us.
I think it's left for government to do something about it.
Nigeria, being a member state of the United Nations, is responding to the recommendations of the Vienna Declaration and Program of Action adopted at the World Conference on Human Rights in Vienna, Austria in 1993. One of such responses is the National Action Plan for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights 2021 to 2025. Some activists are optimistic that the action plan, if properly followed, will identify steps whereby the country can improve the protection and promotion of human rights. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Television undoubtedly remains one of the most important mediums of information dissemination. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, and this report chronicles the journey towards this invention in the world. The first terrestrial broadcast signals in Africa occurred on October 31st, 1959 in Nigeria.
Television is no doubt one of the most modern mass media, which historically the invention dates back to 1839 with its first public demonstration in 1927 by a 21-year-old American, Philo Farnsworth. As the giant of Africa in 1959, even before its independence, Nigeria took the lead in terrestrial TV broadcasting in southwestern parts of the country with the name Western Nigerian Television Service in Ibadan, which transformed to the largest TV network in Africa, the NTA.
It was eventually consummated in 1977 when the decree was promulgated, bringing into being the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Broadcasting through this all-important and dynamic invention began in Nigeria ahead of Malaysia, Singapore, Jamaica, North Korea, and Canada. In Africa, Algeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Senegal launched their TV stations in the 50s, with other countries following. The technology has continued to change as it moves from analog black and white era to colored and then to digital system, giving viewer good output as a result of quality image and sound that creates a resounding experience.
Before, no government found it easy to give license to citizens because of the fear of the unknown. There is that phobia. But here comes a time where citizens are now applying and all the due diligence are observed and they are being able to acquire a license. I think it's a watershed in our history. It's a major milestone.
Today, broadcasting the world over is transiting from the usual TV box to mobile devices.
We are presently on a lot of platforms. Wherever you are, even right here, if you have a strong internet, you can watch NTA.
This transformation has significantly enabled citizens' contribution to broadcasting through the social media. However, this comes with a major challenge: fake news.
As a journalist, there is need for you to verify, to cross-check your facts before you go on air. Do not be carried away by sentiment.
We are concerned with the level of insecurity in the country, and the media has a critical role to play.
National Broadcasting Commission, as the regulator in Nigeria, wants traditional media outfits to always verify stories before they broadcast, especially those sourced from the social media, to avoid breaching the broadcasting code. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
You're watching News reaching you from the studio of Nta Calabar. You can also watch this newscast from our YouTube channel at YouTube/NTA Calabar. More news when we return. Don't worry. Welcome back to the rest of our news. The astronomical rise in the price of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas, and its effect on Nigerians have been one of issues dominating public discourse. Investigation reveals that the spiral hike in the cost of the commodity has forced many Nigerians who cannot afford cooking gas to return to the days of the use of firewood and charcoal for the preparation of meals. Nkoyetan spoke with some people in Calabar on these developments.
Cooking gas has for a long time now been stable in the open market to consumers who find it clean and cheap for use, but its rising cost is giving users deep concern. Some residents of Calabar are, however, lamenting the hike in the price, and as such, some have resorted to using charcoal for cooking. Observers say the price of kerosene, which would have been an alternative, is not also pocket-friendly, even as the price of cooking gas has shot up to about 800 naira per kilogram.
A kg used to go for 350, but presently now a kg is 800 naira. Whereas other places are giving 900, 950, but we here we choose to give at 800 naira per kg.
It's stress on everybody, on every Nigerian, because it's painful. A gas of 300 or something of that nature, but now it's 800 naira.
I feel bad, very, very bad. So government should come and do something about it to bring the price of gas down.
High rate of taxation, devaluation of naira, as well as high exchange rate of dollars are some of the main reasons economic watchers say are responsible for the surge in the price of liquefied petroleum.
The exchange rate is so unbearable. It's becoming something we cannot even talk about. $1 of 150, 200, one something is now 600, and it's something we cannot take it in this country.
Because of the exchange rates, the dollar has really gone up.
For persons who earn a living from firewood, it is a bag of mixed feelings, that of disappointment in the rising cost of gas and bricks business while it lasts.
Now, no firewood. To get firewood now they hard. As it hard, this small one we get no market to sell. Like since morning now, nobody say don't sell like 10 naira.
Yes, the charcoal business is moving. Why it's moving is because of now so many people are patronizing us. Some people now, they don't used to buy charcoal. They are now buying it because of the increment in gas, yes, and also kerosene.
Nigerians continue to express worry over the continuous increment in the price of cooking gas. There is an appeal on government to urgently intervene and come to the aid of the common man. In Calabar, Nkoyetan, NTA News.
Raising the next generation of vibrant, intellectually mobile, and visionary youthful leaders from Cross River States to operate a political space in the state-dominated discourse at an extraordinary stakeholders engagement meeting of the Cross River State chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, NYCN. Correspondent reports that the meeting also strategized on achieving lofty aspirations of the youth aim at developing national polity. The stakeholders meeting is to interface and deliberate on issues affecting the youths in the state, as well as encourage active and positive participation in politics. It is the view of participants at this meeting, therefore, that the creation of political consciousness and the registration of voters ahead of the 2023 general election are appropriate.
Have come to an agreement that will allow power roll back to where it started in 1999. It is a thing of conviction that it is best for our generation. It is a thing of conviction that it is best for the generation that will come even after now.
The Youth Council is a generational organization, and as we move, the next generation will come in. For us to set the pace for the next generation coming after us to join and to follow, will key into the agenda of moving into the South.
Some stakeholders at the meeting are also suing for integration, while advocating the power shift from the north to the south, beginning from the grassroots.
The heat of conspiracy endorses back to south, and it's a no-go area.
I would want to say that for the governorship issue, I have no doubt.
Chairman Cross River State Youth Council of Nigeria, Comrade Danubo, says the council has the mandate to check the political drawing board to choose a dependable and formidable candidate who will run in 2023 to further the state and country.
We're interested in who governs us in 2023. And so the first thing we need to do was identify which direction we are going to get someone to govern us from.
In every generation, we have those that are in the field. We have those that strategize. We have those that also do the collations. And these are all young men. But at the end of the day, we do the work and then take it to them.
It is hoped that there will be an increased youth participation in politics as democracy grows. In Calabar, Erika Ivi, NTA News. Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, went agog as dozens of working journalists in the state staged a walk for peace procession to signal the return of peace and harmony in the state after years of insurgency. Jointly organized by the Yobe state chapters of the Nigeria Union of Journalists and Sport Writers Association of Nigeria, the peace walk is a prelude to the 2021 Media Games. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The about 5-kilometer walk for peace with razzmatazz begins from the city center, passing through Gasho Road, with members of the pen profession holding placards containing messages that promote peace and harmony in the state. The jubilant and highly spirited workers, after covering about half of the total distance, made a brief stopover at the Emir of Damaturu Palace, a critical stakeholder in promoting peaceful coexistence in the state. They proceeded while preaching the gospel of peace to residents of the areas who turned out to catch a glimpse of the procession. The work for peace was then terminated at the Yobe State NUJ Secretariat along Gasho Road.
We are just trying to show the world that we in Yobe, we are living in peace but not in pieces. We cannot do that without appreciating most especially the military, the police, the civil defense. And as you can see, they are even part of the work. And they will participate in the media games.
The world should know that Yobe State, by extension the Northeast, is peaceful now for business. Anybody who flees out of the town should please come back. Yobe State is now regaining its peaceful status.
In partnership with the State Specialist Hospital Damaturu, there was a free medical outreach where members of the unions availed themselves for various medical check-ups to ascertain their health status. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
With that report, we have come to the end of the news tonight. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has addressed the world leaders in Glasgow on how to accelerate the fight against climate change. The Nigeria Union of Journalists and Sport Writers Association of Nigeria have staged a walk for peace in Damaturu, Yobe State's capital, to signal the return of peace and harmony in the country. It was also in the news that the Speaker House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed sympathy for the victims and the Lagos State government over the collapsed building in Lagos, which led to loss of lives and property. That's it tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.